It's really a case by case basis on the is a PEO worth it and kind of what the math looks like. My role is to educate and to determine and help determine if something is going to be a good fit and a good deal for a small business. The industry stat is 27% ROI using a PEO versus not using one. When we look at like a solopreneur as an example or a really small team, oftentimes they may not have a medical solution designed for a small business. They might be getting their medical insurance through the open market. Because health insurance is underwritten and covers, really looking at your individual demographics of your group, it really is an individualized exercise, especially on the medical side. If they are using some type of payroll service, if they're using a PEO, now you're looking at the administrative fees for payroll or for the PEO. Again, you are now under the EIN of that PEO, so you are subject to what their state unemployment tax rates are, what the workers' compensation premium looks like, potentially what the 401k administrative fees are. So there's a lot of things that go into this, bottom line number. And so that's kind of what I do as a salesperson is we collect a lot of information. A lot of it is for underwriting for medical or for employee benefits or for workers' comp. But the other part that we're doing is we are collecting all of that to be able to put together a personalized forecast for that business owner of here's your current state. Here are your existing costs today. We might have a conversation about what growth looks like if, the business is doing really well, you're going to hire another 5 or 10 employees. What impact does that have versus what would it look like with EssentL? A really good example where one man shop, right? And yeah, he uses contractors and strategic partners to help, delegate the work out to produce, output for a client. And as a business grows, they start hiring employees. And depending on where those employees are, you got to follow different regulations and compliance rules. There might be some leave requirements. There might be some 401k or like retirement plan requirements that have, states are starting to beef up these mandates. As a business grows, you might have to offer medical insurance. And as you go into different states, like the world these days, everyone can go, you can hire people anywhere and conduct business through Zoom or on Google Meet. But that doesn't change the fact that now you have to follow the regulations and laws in the state that the employee is in. And so that's something that gets small businesses, can get them into trouble because the business owner most of the time isn't an HR professional themselves. Typically, they don't have an HR professional on their staff until they have like 50 to 75 employees because there's just not enough work to support a full-time employee that's HR certified. And so that's kind of what that PEO model does. It's kind of almost like a shared service, especially on the HR side. The business owner has more, can get sleep at night knowing that compliance is handled and allows them to focus on why they got in business in the first place rather than trying to click your way through a gray area of HR using ChatGPT or, through a Google search and looking for specific articles. Because the one thing that's unique about HR is that you are working with the X factor of human beings, and every situation has its own context. And so it's really important to have knowledgeable support to help you get through an issue or, a strategy around where you're going to hire and how you're going to do that in an effective way.
And then we also go one step further because I'm a mother and I'm like, I know the frustrations of having to call the insurance company, calling like Blue Shield, like numerous times trying to figure out like, why didn't you pay this bill? We wanted to make sure that was actually taken care of. And so we have a concierge service that you call and you're like, hey, this bill did not get paid properly. Can you get on the phone with the insurance company and figure out like why it was not paid? Or I'm trying to figure out like what's going to be my deductible on this particular like procedure I'm going to have. And what doctor should I choose? Or is there a cheaper way I can get like a medication? So you can call this service up and they might not have the answer today, but they'll go investigate that and they'll call you back. And to me, I'm like, that's such a great thing because if you are a small business owner or just even myself as a mother, I get really, I don't want to sit on the phone with an insurance company. And all I'm going to do is this first, I'm going to get like some AI like chatbot that's talking to me and I'm going to have to press 0 to keep asking to get to like sales representative or a representative. Then they're going to have to investigate. And then it's like 2 hours later and they're probably going to be like, sorry, it was coded wrong or something. And I just wasted 2 hours of my day or just the frustration level, right? Where it's like, we can offload all of that with our concierge service that will take care of all that for you.